Hello. What I'm going to be talking about and what I'm going to be showing you may be disturbing to some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. So if you're not over the age of common sense, then I suggest you not come on the live stream, not even in the chat. In five, four, three, two. Welcome to another edition of the Lock Nation Show. Like I said, what I'm going to be doing is reviewing overall a lot of things that's been happening throughout the Bondi trial, if you will, and I'm going to be asking a lot of questions. I did a live stream a couple of days ago, um, and said I was going to utter some things that most likely will be disturbing. Most likely, some of us, mainly in the older generation, have already known about. This stuff is just catching worldwide stream. It's very sensitive to some viewers. I know it's sensitive to me in the sense that I have children, and it amps me up, amps my awareness up to the point where um not to trust white folks. That's the simple one, but to be aware that Holly weird, and even some people that you possibly would view as your friends, your family, judges, chief of staff, chief of police. I'm just putting everybody out there. Uh, your congressmen, your legislators, possibly, maybe, your mayors, your governors, your presidents, all are on notice. For what I have heard and I've heard a lot of crazy things over the years. But this we all let's just come out with it. We all know that Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein were a bunch of evil people. Well, Trump is evil, but he's also hallucinating. We all know that. Um, what you didn't know, and we're still reviewing the Epstein files. Some of us are still reviewing those files as we speak to this very day. Um, I'm not going to be very long with it. I'm just going to tell you flat out, when it comes to Hollywood, when it comes to your uh, animated shows like The Simpsons, the uh, uh, SpongeBob, that's all Hollywood stuff. That's Nickelodeon stuff. My kids don't watch that stuff for obvious reasons. Um, and sometimes I even look, believe it or not, uh, Tyler Perry with a third eye. I'm looking at all these people side eye, even your preachers, even your preachers in the pulpit. I'm looking at him side eye too, right? There's a reason why Pam Bundy, the head of the DOJ, was fumbling 2 days ago. I let everybody review that. I let everybody review that straight up because I wanted to analyze the situation for what it is. And it's for the simple fact that we all know that she's protecting Trump and she, gaslighting, reflecting, deflecting, whatever. But we're looking at it is how much is she getting paid for all this? How much money is this heifer getting paid not to look at the victims of Jeffrey Epstein, which were right beside Jasmine Crockett? She couldn't even look him in the eye. And there was a reason why she couldn't look him in the eyes because she's getting paid to do a job. Not her particular job, but her particular job is protecting the interest of Donald Trump, which is protecting the interest of Jeffrey Epstein, which is protecting the interest of whoever is on that list. I mean, they say this is all speculation, but there's still 3 million more files to. There's still 3 million more files out there, and I reviewed. I'm just going to get into it. I reviewed some of the files myself. I didn't review all of it. I reviewed some of it, and it's getting uncomfortable. This is getting very, very, very uncomfortable. I mean, if you look her in, if did you look? If you haven't looked at the trial, did you look her in the eye? You looked her in the eye, you could tell she doesn't care. She never cared about those people. Criminal investi- Criminal investigation, crime against unit, contact, adact. I mean, we all know what this was for, and of course, there's a case number trial. Jeffrey Epstein, his girlfriend, Julian Maxwell, WSTA, child, um, um, I can't even say the word if I wanted to. Oh shit, pornography or uh, child molester. Okay, slow it down. Slow it down. Slow it down. Prostitution. Child prostitution. So not only was Epstein on this, but Glenn Maxwell she's behind bars right now as we speak. The same one that pleaded the fifth. Supposed to um let me see, to advise Miami Division of Costco, collusion of travel request to two Miami agents to travel to Sydney, Australia from Sydney, Australia from March 14, 2011 to March 21st to interview United States citizen adapt. So it must have been, we all assume, a young girl. Details. Kat, Katu or Kato con, cons, cons, concerns, not concern. It's concerns. We'll just skip that one. With Miami Division's request for two Miami agents to travel to Sydney, Australia from March 14th, 2011 to March 21st, 2011 to interview with it. This is the same thing. In the addition, per email dated uh, March 14, 2011, Criminal Investigation Division um, deputy exec, and they got everything adapted. So we can only assume who was involved and who made the arrest, who was investigating, so on and so forth. And oh, there's more. There's fucking more. Speak. You can only but speak the truth. You can only but speak the truth. But politically, this is only speculation. We still need to review. And if you have not been to the DOG, the Department of Justice, and looked this up yourself, it's like, I don't know what you're waiting on, because there's pictures. Just the pictures alone look crazy. The pictures alone look crazy. This nigga got on soap, vagina soap. He's got pictures of, they're not even pictures, they're faces on the walls. We don't know if those faces have been ripped off or they're waxed, or they're being ripped off of human people. We don't know that. But what we do know, when we seen the actual photos itself, are actual human beings who have been, well, use your imagination. I don't know if you've seen the, I think it was a IG post that someone had posted of lines of human beings being roasted, because that wasn't a chicken on the table. I don't know chickens to be that big. I don't know chickens to be that damn big. And then when he cut into it so smooth. That's because he put them in a furnace where they can absolutely deep fry these victims. And let me not get into the people in cages. Let me not get into the little girls that were in cages. Let me not get into, I mean, that's human trafficking in itself, which is not new. None of this is new. None of this is it's shocking, but it's not shocking because we already knew. You ever, if you haven't heard of Jeffrey Dahmer, then you're crazy. If you haven't heard of Jeffrey Dahmer putting black people in refrigerators, having explicit sexual content with them first, killing them, and then carving them up. Who was I forgot who. There was another victim. Who was it was not Sandra Bland. It wasn't Sandra Bland. It was Maxwell Anderson, who picked up that girl from Milwaukee, right? I forgot what her name was. I did a story on her, but Maxwell Anderson was the one that homegirl picked up, took to a bar, then took to her home, and then killed her and carved her up. These people are sick. So going back to the trial, and needless to say that this was all a cover up just to, and oh, by the way, I've heard little rumors that some of the files were some of the files were erased. Some of the files were retracted. Sade Robinson, thank you. Some of the files were had disappeared already. I'm not shocked. I'm not surprised. But we'll all see. We will all see. Let me see responsibilities, and let me see if this is even worth reading. Responsibilities and evidence and the trials of travel, the responsibility with personal information to purpose of the travels or the details and the multiple wait as much detail as possible. I'm trying to no, this is pretty much self-reading. This is pretty much self-reading. I mean, going through this is all you see. This is all you see. You just gotta comb through it real slow and see who, if you can find more names other than just Jeffrey Epstein's name. You just gotta comb through it. You just gotta comb through it. The FBI. This is called FBI. FBI Miami field office is investigating the Palm Beach. Wait, investigate. It, oh, assistance. I'm sorry, assistance of the Palm Beach Police Department in Florida in ongoing investigation into Jeffrey Epstein, a U.S. citizen, along with his associates. Epstein is believed to have mul, uh, man, manipulated, undergoing girls from local high schools. So he's picked up girls from local high schools to perform massage and sex acts at his residence. The victims were usually recruited by other underaged females at and after performing virtuous acts were paid sums of money in the 200 to 1,000 range. Investigation in Miami identified a victim named blah blah, indacted, married, indacted, born, indacted. Indacted is a U.S. citizen, which is a underage girl, a U.S. citizen, and the victim of a sex crime. She is not a she is not considered a subject, nor is she facing charges in the investigation uh, described below. So I take it the names that were there that they were talking about that shouldn't have been there. I guess they retracted it and I guess they retracted it all back, redacted the names, and then put it back in the file. Before I forget, the back. I love this background. Oh, thank you. Thank you. But anyway, we're going to go into, because I know you have all seen this already, but I'm gonna play it again because it was just too funny. It was just too funny how this woman was just deflecting all over the damn place.
The people's work of oversight. Please set the burn book aside and answer our questions. And when you hear us reclaim our time, that means it's time for you to stop speaking. We only have 5 minutes. So when we reclaim our time, that means you stop. And if you don't, we will.
5 years. That's nothing short of historic. If you compare 25 to 24, here's what you'll find. The murder rate is down 21%, robbery down 23%, carjacking down 43%, gun assault down 22%, ag assault, burglary, go on and on. Crime is declining. Did not happen by accident. The numbers tell an important yet straightforward story. President Trump has given us the support and the leadership to protect the American people. President Trump's policies save lives. I cannot think of a policy outcome more important than protecting the lives of American citizens. Can you? This trend is especially clear in Washington, D.C. and in Memphis. They're two iconic American cities that spent years in the grip of horrific violent crime. The Department of Justice surged law enforcement resources.
I love the scripted people. I love the Hollywood aspect of it. I love the Hollywood aspect of it because it just shows how fake, truly fake these people are.
And the results came quickly. Crime plummeted in both cities. And I want to make one point loud and clear. We achieved those results by working with Democratic mayors. Public safety does not have a party registration. When your constituents call 911, they don't ask for political views of the responding officer. They ask for help. I have federal agents in each and every one of your districts. They're here to help, and I am here to help. Many cities and states have worked with us and taken advantage of our federal support. Some have not. Meanwhile, a few elected officials have declared that they are, quote, at war with the federal government and encouraged widespread obstruction of law enforcement. This has resulted in avoidable clashes on the streets, as you've all storming a Christian church. Citizens and law enforcement officers have both been endangered by reckless rhetoric. We have made dozens in and around Minneapolis so far, and many of them could have been avoided by simple compliance with federal law. Of course, our efforts reach beyond our urban centers. We're striking crucial blows against terrorist organizations such as 13, TDA, the Sinaloa cartel, and Antifa. And as we sit here, seeing the news this morning, shot down by our military. That's what we all should care about right now, protecting America. We seek to disrupt trafficking networks that Americans. In 2025, our DEA agents seized more than 47 million fentanyl and more than 9,800 total kilos of fentanyl.
Isn't this the same script that she read off of that sheet not too long ago? I would say a couple years ago. Or not a couple years ago, a couple of months ago. And then the month after that, or the month before that, and the month before that. Don't her and Cash, I might be off, but don't her and Cash Mattel sound the same? Just a thought.
That represents 369 million potentially deadly doses that can kill Americans. Meanwhile, our attorneys are fighting for President Trump's agenda in courtrooms across this country. This administration has been sued 627 times. We've fought through a non-stop flood of bad faith temporary restraining orders from liberal activists. America has never seen this level of coordinated judicial opposition towards a presidential administration. It's not only an unlawful attack on the executive branch's authority, but a serious attack on the democratic process. In spite of this unprecedented judicial activism, we've attained 24 favorable rulings at the U.S. Supreme Court.
You know, in Nazi Germany, when Hitler spoke of his version of democracy and how the Jews were treating them unfairly and blase, 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 telling lie after lie after lie after lie after lie. Well, in this version, the more you read the script to Americans, although you got these delusional Trumpites who won't even lift a finger to save their own, won't lift a finger to save babies, but will fight tooth and nail all day, every day, that Trump is a king. He is a king because they believe that he's good for taxes, lowering costs, which none of that is absolutely true. I can give a damn less about gas. I care more about food because you can't eat gas. Oh, the gas prices are 10%. Who gives a fuck? Who gives a rip? All those promises from the day after inauguration, and he pulls this, and we all go back and we look at 2016. We all look at 2016. We all thought that, Apparently, he was going to drain the swamp. Oh, he's draining the swamp already. Worth of bullshit.
The docket and even more
And people still can't get over January 6th.
to come. We've done so while ending the weaponization of the prior administration by dropping FACE Act prosecutions, exposing the Arctic frost scandal via congressional disclosure, thank you, Chairman, and restoring one tier of justice in this country. To address the Epstein files, more than 500 attorneys and reviewers spent thousands of hours painstakingly reviewing millions of pages to comply with Congress's law. We've released more than 3 million pages, including.
Yeah, and it took, 3 months? It took 3 months to release 3 million pages. And we hear there's 3 million more. Let's talk about it.
Including 180,000 images, all to the public, while doing our very best in the time frame allotted by the legislation to protect victims. And if you brought us a victim's name, we immediately adopted all members of Congress, as you are invited to visit DJ to see for yourself. I want to take a moment to acknowledge the Epstein survivor today. I'm a career prosecutor, and despite what the team said, I have spent my entire career fighting for victims, and I will continue to do so. I am deep for what any victim went through, especially as a result of that monster. If you have any information to share of anyone who has hurt you or abused you, the FBI is waiting to hear from you. I want you to know any accusations of criminal wrongdoing.
It's probably not heard to me.
Will be taken seriously and investigated. The Department of Justice is committed to holding criminals accountable to the fullest extent of the law. In 2025, the FBI arrested over 1,700 child predators of child exploitation and shut down 3.8 million dark web pedophile accounts. 3.8 million. So please, if you have information to share that needs to be investigated, contact the FBI. Today.
On that note, there were at least 2,500, maybe even more victims of Epstein. None of those people who were survivors, of Epstein, are not protected. Their names were not protected. Their livelihoods were not protected. And you got people to this very day who would make fun of the fact that it has taken so long. Why did it take so long for this person or that person who were victims of Epstein? Why did it take them so long to call the phone, get on the phone and call the police? Why did they call the police right then and there? Dumbasses. Do you know that trauma is it doesn't take a genius to know that very powerful, we're talking millionaires and billionaires that the government protects, to manipulate in a lot of ways It's no different from the child trafficking that's going on in Vegas, in Miami, Florida, in Georgia, in California, in Texas, New Mexico. It doesn't take that much for victims to get lost and for victims to get snatched up at young, tender ages. Why are we making fun of this fact? Because people just don't see the forest from the trees. They just see he's a great guy. I shook his hand a couple of years ago. He's a great man. He's a great man. He can do absolutely no wrong. Trump can do absolutely no freaking wrong. Why was he naked? Why were him and Epstein naked? Did I Lisa, did I give you a video by email a long time ago? Check to see if I've given you an email, and I'll go and review it.
Today, I look forward to discussing further our shared obligation to protect the American people, uphold the rule of law, and keep this nation safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Attorney General. The chair we now proceed under the 5-minute rule. The chair recognizes the gentleman from California for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Madam General, thank you for your extensive remarks, particularly on your continued investigation of those responsible over the years in the Epstein debacle. Obviously, you have an amazingly full docket between civil rights, between criminal, between so-called white-collar crime, and doing so, as the chairman said, at a time in which both you and the president are under attack, and our ICE agents and FBI and others are under attack when they try to enforce the law. I personally want to apologize for those who would embolden, support, or even stand with those lawbreakers that sit on this and other daises here in Congress. My job generally is to talk about patents and trademarks as the chairman of that subcommittee. I'll forego that today because one of my other jobs is the creation and maintenance of Article 3 judges. And I work with the Chief Justice on that. And we're trying to expand the court. But currently, there are only 677 district court judges. They have very full dockets as well. But you create a tremendous amount of judges, particularly immigration judges. You do so in order to save the court that, but adjudicate, as is requirement, each of those people who claim a right to be here in the United States. And that has been going on under Republican and Democratic administrations for years. What's unique about the Trump administration this time is that you and President Trump have managed to reduce the backlog of people seeking that for the first time. You are getting ahead of caused, for better or worse, the release of millions of people with little pieces of paper saying, come back or call you, and often to a call. So I want to congratulate you on because it's an accomplishment you would never give you credit for. But I hope you can.
No, I can definitely show that. I was just grifting. I can definitely show that I was just grifting. But I want to show this instead. Because again, we are living in a world where money and power is absolutes, is in absolutes to these people. But let me show this real quick. If Donald Trump is such a good guy, why are we now just seeing this? And oh, look, Michael Jackson's in the background. Oh, me, oh, my.
Travailler c'est bien, bien mieux qu'être mal accompagné, pas vrai?
Oh, wow. DOD, what's up?
What's going on, my brother? How's it going?
Uh, Nothing much. Just showing the democracy and the damnation of this bullshit.
And what hypocrisy do you speak of?
The hypocrisy of how Pam Bundy and this Trump administration is just hip hopping and his scotching all over the place and just doesn't come up with the full files. And there's some other stuff, but let's talk about it. What's your take?
For my take, man, this is probably one of the most openly corrupted administrations that that the United States have ever seen, man. I mean, this is just ridiculous, and I can't, for the life of me, understand why no one is trying to get these people up out of here. I guess we're going to have to wait to the midterms to try to vote these people out. If of course everything's going to be on the up and up when it comes to the voting, but we got to get these people up out of here, my brother.
Yeah,
This
but
is just ridiculous.
here's the problem: the seats got to turn blue. These Senate seats and some of these House seats definitely have to turn blue in order for that to happen.
Yeah,
Otherwise, it's just going to be another 3 years of hopscotching and BS. Excuse me. So the seats have
yeah,
to turn blue.
yeah. No, I totally agree with you, man. And we got people that got to get out there and vote. A lot of our people, they talk about how voting doesn't matter. Well, we see now how much it does matter. Um, like I said, man, I just never seen such corruption, open corruption, go unchecked. It's just it's weird to me, man.
It's been said for years how the left and the right are pretty much in the same bed together, but one one party one party, the slave masters put you in the party, the Republican side for Jim Crows. The other side puts you in the Democratic Party for I forgot what specific reason, but either way, I mean, you are both being controlled by the same persons, if you will. It's just that one hand washed the other, and one promises you something that isn't never going to happen, and the other one just feeds you breadcrumbs. I just hope and I pray that a person like Jasmine Crockett truly has her third eye. I'll tell you real quick. I was an idiot back then, but I did not know too much of anything when I voted for Obama. I was very naive to say that this particular brother who isn't a billionaire, by the way. I can definitely say that. Otherwise, we would have heard his name in these particular files. But you don't hear people like this because people like him are not qualified to be on the list. But I'm thinking, oh, Jay-Z is, huh? Because he's a billionaire. P. Diddy is qualified to be on this list because he is a billionaire. I would say just wait. Just wait, and more files are supposed to be coming in. More files are supposed to be read. And the only reason in my mind that the reason why these people have not been indicted, other than Maxwell herself, but the reason why she's in a jail cell right now, but she's a witness to a whole lot of child trafficking, but she ended up pleading the fifth, right? But that's just only one person. A whole series of people got to go. A whole series of people. I don't know if you seen my thumbnail earlier, but those individuals, they have to go.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you, man. It is the billionaire boys club. You got to be a billionaire to be part of whatever they had going on. Um, I had some other thoughts, man, but I'm kind of losing them right now. But and you mentioned Jasmine Crockett. Now I love me some Jasmine Crockett. Man, I think she would be great if she ran for president. I think it's maybe a little bit too early for her. Maybe another 4 or 5 years. But I think a little too early for her right now. But I think in the future she should probably make a great president or at least a vice president. Um,
Brother, they won't get you know perfectly good and well they are never going to let a female in the presidency. Even I don't read into Jesse too much, but Jesse Ventura even said that we dropped the ball in that regard.
yeah.
And the reason why that is because this is a male egoed system, a male ego driven system that even black conservatives, okay, black conservatives themselves said that the presidency should always be male.
But
I
you know what,
said,
my brother? I'm sorry. No,
what's
I'm
up?
sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
What's up? I'm really interested to hear what you're saying because I even heard you throughout the years, although I've been in and out and roaming around in different circles, and I have to say, you are the man. You are the man, and you've been putting out some very interesting content. Very interesting.
Well, you mentioned and I thank you for that, man. I really do appreciate that. My channel is very small. I don't do a lot of live streamings. I just put out, videos how I feel, about how I feel about certain topics, man. But I do appreciate you shouting me out that way. I wasn't even aware that you were aware of my content. So thank you, man.
I'm subscribed to you.
Oh, okay. See what I'm saying, man? I don't be knowing, man. Because my thing isn't about subscriptions and numbers and all that. I just put out how I feel. But I do appreciate, man, you being subscribed to me. I
Not a
appreciate
problem.
that.
Not a problem.
But you mentioned black conservatives, and we know there's like people like Officer Tatum and Anton Daniels and people like this. We got your Tim Scotts. If you look at the Republican Party, man, Tim Scott is probably the highest black male person, on the Republican side, and even he can't become president. Or he can't be nominated as president on the Republican side. At least the Democrats have had at least a black president. But the
Mhm.
Republicans, I don't think there'll ever be a black president. That's Republican. What do you think about that?
What do I think about a Republican black president?
You think that
Uh,
there ever will be one?
no. I mean, I'm just looking at the candidates that are out there right now, and none of them would be even worthy enough to even go that route. Um, or would they be? Would anybody would be in the position to put a black male in that position as a Republican?
Right.
There's a reason why they put Obama in that position is to open up the borders of Africa. That was mainly the only reason why. Other than that, there was no nothing being established, no businesses, no distributions, no nothing. All we got was yes, we can. Uh, I said his first term. I said I'll concede. I will concede. This is his first year, and things take time. His second year, I was fooled. I was fooled. I was disgusted because no one took this man to task. No one held this man accountable. But we want to put Jasmine Crockett. We want to hold Jasmine Crockett accountable just because she doesn't have policies right now. Have you read her bio? Have you been on her website as of late? She is a junior congressman making specific decisions and voting on legislative decisions. She just announced a month and a half ago that she was running for U.S. Senate. You gotta give this woman time. Plus, she just had her first debate, which I have to say was kind of like, eh. I mean, what did you think about the debate?
Like you said, it was pretty basic, pretty bland. But like you said, she's new to this really, and so
Mhm.
it's going to take, like you mentioned, and I've said, it's going to take some time for her to really get a foothold, in that arena, in that stage. But like I said, in maybe 10 years from now, if she's still in the game, I think she would make a great presidential candidate. I really do. I just feel that, but like you said, it'll probably never happen where a female can become president because a white woman, Hillary Clinton, she was defeated by Trump, and then we had Kamala, she was defeated by Trump to another white male. So it's going to take some time for a woman to become president, but I would like to see one day her at least run for it, see where it goes.
Okay, to put it like this, she did win. The only issue was how Trump won. And we all know how Trump won. He, basically redacted his own stuff and then put it out there. Put it I don't know how the voting process goes, but basically he cheated. And he was complaining that even then 2016, let me see, 2020 is 26, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020,
2020. Yeah.
2021 was supposed to be his year. I said, homie, you got impeached not once but twice for that BS the BS that happened with the lady that sued you in civil court, but that January 6th debacle, which they're still questioning to this day. They're still investigating to this very day, right?
Right.
But I lost the train of thought. So, but needless to say, she already had won. Hell, Hillary won. Hillary won by a landslide. But this is how electoral colleges, this is how electoral colleges operate. They pick presidents 4 years in advance. They pick people simply because they want to put a face that says, we need to get America to where it should be. They put Donald Trump's face on there simply because, again, it goes back to control. How much land base do we have to control? We're wasting. We are in debt, $60+ trillion, and how are we going to get back to where we used to be in life? They don't have a specific plan for Black people. They never had a specific plan for Black people at all. Your Supreme Courts never ever had an interest in Black people at all. The only black face that you see, Clarence Thomas, the Sambo, has no specific interests. But they
Yeah,
want you
no,
to vote every 4 years for their specific interest and not yours.
right, right. Because tell me, brother, how can a 34-time convicted felon, a sexual assault abuser, a bold-faced liar become president again after leading an insurrection?
Money. Money. That's all it is money and resources. Money. And I want to tell you the truth. Not everybody likes Trump, but he is very resourceful. I don't want to call him stupid because he's not stupid. He's just slow. But
Right.
every specific resources that he has attained, he has to pay back for. And this is the reason why I say the Khazars that he owes, the Khazars, the real true Jews, the supposed real true Jews, he owes the Jews of Israel, he owes them money. And this is the reason why he is doing this right now. This is the reason why health insurance is so high. This is the reason why inflation is up. This is the reason why inflation is up. This is the reason why rent is up. I mean, some of it was under Biden, but it's not significantly any different under Trump either. It's
Okay,
the
so
stuff.
now what were you saying about what is high? You said it was under Biden and Trump.
the they were arguing inflation was high.
Oh,
Well, some of it was due to the pandemic and everything,
right.
but overall everything was better under Biden. A little better. I'm not saying it was a whole lot better, but it was a little bit better under Biden. But as soon as Trump promised all these specific things, it's crazy out here.
Yeah,
It is.
Trump
I
promised a
mean,
lot of
it
things.
all depends. It all depends on where you live. It all depends on where you live, what city and what state. But overall, it's particularly crazy. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, man. Trump promised a lot of things that there was no way he could do anything. I mean, like getting grocery prices down. He can't do anything about that. Because these businesses, these multi-business, like Walmart and these other food chains or whatever, they charge whatever they want. Trump, the president, really can't do anything about that. I mean, gas prices. We were pumping more gas. Um, under the Biden administration than we ever had in the United States. Gas prices were still high because these companies charge whatever they want to charge. Trump putting these tariffs on these different countries, thinking that's going to help. That's not going to help either, because the consumer, we pay for those tariffs. Those businesses doesn't pay for the tariffs. We do.
We do.
So it doesn't make sense to think that that was going to solve anything. You know what I'm saying?
How does the tariffs work? How does one tariff work? Tax
What you
base.
get exactly.
No, okay. No, sir.
That's exactly
No.
what it is.
So you just raise the price up to whatever. Say if you want to get coffee grounds from Brazil, you raise the prices up for them to pay for whatever, so
To
it would
ship it
come to
in.
us.
To ship it in, right? Yep.
Shipping and handling. Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. But
So
then those
you
prices,
want
but then those prices are going to be sent, is going to be given to us to pay. You see what I'm saying? So there's no way tariffs was gonna help, and that's why Trump keeps raising tariffs and taking them back, raising them and then taking them back. It's
well, there's
if
your answer.
because if the tariffs were going to help Americans with the price of food or whatever product or whatever it is, then Trump would have just left it there.
Well, there's your answer right there. But all this is just pretty much a distraction of what we really need to talk about, because this is a concern for our children. I don't know if you
Exactly.
have I don't know if you have children or not, but
I
um,
do. I do.
okay. So obviously, and I don't know if they're grown. I don't know if they're
Yes.
middle.
My youngest is like 30, 34, 35.
Oh, okay. So you don't have to worry about nothing.
Right.
Um, my children, I only got one teenager, so I
So,
nearly have to sit with her, and I nearly have to discuss certain points on how child trafficking, because this is what this is about.
hmm
Um, the United States ain't nothing but a money pit. United States ain't nothing but a holy grounds for demonic terrorism when it comes to kidnapping children.
Right.
Uh, the cannibalism is in 34 states. 34 states, except for Iowa. Child
So
trafficking,
you mean southern states or just the United States?
United States.
Okay. Okay.
The child trafficking is near the borders. I'm in Nevada.
Makes sense.
We're
Yeah.
second. We are second. There are being children being snatched daily, whether through if they're used for uh, uh, prostitution or um, what else is profitable? Not just prostitution, but um, organ harvesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
All that stuff is very profitable. And with those particular profits given to the rich, and all they do is buy, sell in that particular reign. And hardly any of that is being investigated. But you're wasting, what was it? What was the number? $170 billion on homeland security
Yeah.
and destroying innocent civilians. I thought we were all about getting rid of the immigrants. Come to find out, You're getting rid of legal immigrants, not illegal, not just illegal immigrants, but you're getting rid of legal immigrants.
Yeah. Snatching them right out of the courtrooms as they're getting sworn in or about to be sworn in to become U.S. citizens. They're getting snatched up.
You're getting rid of people who have been here for over decades, and it's all because you can we just tell the truth? You want to make America white.
Exactly. Yep.
This ain't nothing new from Nazi Germany. But people get upset at you for calling you a Nazi.
Yeah.
You're just proving your true colors. You are proving a state in this particular country that you are nothing but low, a very sensitive person, a low down scumbag. But yet
Yep.
I'm wrong for calling it what it is. Because we still have Trump, we still have those particular supporters out there that would say, oh, he didn't do nothing wrong. He's not racist. As a matter of fact, he has black friends. No, he doesn't. He has he has associates. There's a big difference. There's
It
a
is.
very big difference from having to pay off people, have to pay Snoop, pay Nelly, pay Yeezy, pay Yeezy a little bit of money.
And
Just
what's her
because
name? What's her name? What's her name? That's
Nicki,
female
Nicki, Nicki,
singer. Nicki
she's,
Minaj.
she's irrelevant.
Right. Right.
I already know she's freaking irrelevant. It's like you don't even know what the hell you don't you ain't nothing but a dog. You didn't know what the hell you're talking about. Talking about this world is very sensitive. I was like, do you even know what the fuck is going on here?
No, she
Obviously, you
doesn't.
don't. But correct me if I'm wrong, but don't you have a husband that's a sex offender?
Yep. Yep. She does.
Don't you have a brother who's the same thing?
And you know what, my brother? That's what I thought she was going for. She was doing all of this bootlicking and sample and chimiming to get them out of prison. That's what I thought she was doing it for. Turns out, I guess now we're hearing that she was doing it to become because she's not a legal citizen of the United States. I was unaware of that. I thought she was American born,
No,
but
she's
she's
a
not.
Trinidad. She's a Trinidadian. Huh.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that. But let
But
me ask you. Let me ask you. I got to go. But let me ask you one quick question, man. Did you see the pardons that Trump did today?
of his old colleagues from January 6th,
No, no, no. Of ex NFL players. He pardoned It's like 6 or 7 NFL players who were charged with financial crimes in the past or drug trafficking crimes. Look that up, my brother. Ex NFL players who were charged of either financial crimes or they were charged um, with trafficking drugs.
that's nothing. That's nothing to sneeze at. Now you pardon he pardoned way worse people than that. He pardoned somebody who was a drug lord, a
Right.
mere drug lord
Yeah. But
that
my
was
but,
at
but the reason why I bring that up is how can these people talk about law and order, talk about drugs coming into the United States and how we need to protect the youth from it and all this BS, but yeah, he's pardoning these people who have been convicted of it.
you ever heard of
Doesn't make
you ever
sense.
heard of a mirror? What do you what do
Yeah,
you, what do you do? What do you do with a mirror when you look at your deflection? You're
right.
looking at a mirror deflection of yourself going as far back as it can go.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's a mirror deflection. Anybody who he would blame on, he blames everything on Obama. I don't know why, but
Yeah.
anything you would blame a situation on, you would blame it on that person. There is no accountability. Let me ask you a question. Has Trump ever said sorry to anyone?
No, never have, and probably never will.
Okay. You know what he did in Detroit, right? In Detroit, in that fact.
Right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. When he flipped the guy off.
Yeah. Said
Yeah,
F you and flipped them off.
yep,
That's how powerful he is. But the only way, I'm just telling you, brother, the only way to get him out that seat is to have those seats, have those Senate seats turn blue. And then once November comes around, vote. Hell, you can
yeah.
do early voting.
I agree with you. But I'm like
All
I said, I'm
right.
just wondering what the shenanigans are going to be. What type of um, fraud, voter fraud, these guys are going to try to perpetrate to keep Trump from not losing that midterm election, or the people that's in Congress and the House of Representatives from
He's
not
trying to
from not
make
losing.
the whole thing turn uh national and not statewide.
Yeah,
That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to put up all the vote because of unfair voting. He's trying to make it national. That's nothing new. There's
right.
nothing new. But he can't do that without the House voting on it, which the House would not vote on that shit because they'll try hell and high water. The Democrats would try hell and high water, a couple of Republicans to not let that happen.
Yeah, yeah.
And if they
But
and if
brother,
they do, shame on them.
yeah. Well, I got to run, man. But it's good to see some brothers on here that haven't been brainwashed with these I don't know, with Trump and I mean it's just weird to me to see black men like Anton Daniels and the rest of these dudes just fall for this, man. And I want to talk about the Democratic plantation and how you need to get, but it's just the grift. Because there's no way you can see what
Can I
Trump is
explain
doing
why
and
in
think
one
Trump is a
word?
great president.
Can I explain why in one word?
Sure. It's the grift. I agree with you, man. I agree with you.
You
Yeah,
told
but
you
but there's just
told
no way I could do that, man.
you. This is what happens when if you are a part of, let's just say, civil rights, right?
Hmm.
And you've tried and you succeeded to get these rights placed because the right of passage, the right to live in the United States of America was damn near damning. And so they do any and everything. And then you look at the money situation, and it's like, what are we getting? And certain brothers, certain ones, not all, certain brothers was like, well, what are we doing to get paid for our services? And you look, and it's like, this is more important than money.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and people often say, and Malcolm X didn't get paid doing this. Martin Luther King didn't get paid for doing this, and so I mean, I got to get mines. I got to get mines. I'm like, well, what about everybody else? You are still 1% of wealth in the. You are part of one half of 1% in this country. You have not moved a needle. Oh, I'm sorry. It's been it's been a decade. So let me give you 2%.
Yeah.
Versus
Yeah.
what versus what whites have done, versus what Asians have done. Asians have climbed to the mountaintop, and pretty soon they'll be taking over in a few more years or so. Then you got Arabs coming over here. You got Africans coming over here, which I had no problems with that. You have Jamaicans still living over here, but they just want to get rid of you.
Right. Right.
And you're talking specifically that we don't have anything. Well, we could have something according to Dr. Claude Anderson if everything were if you were to set aside your differences just this once, at least for a good 10 years or so to see what you can build, own, and control. And then there's the FBA part. There's
Right.
the A's part. You just set yourself up for failure yet again when you continuously set yourself apart. And we're only 13% of the population. So I say, let the chips fall where they may, and hopefully, hope and all hope, the next generation sees what's real and what's fake, and hopefully they make a good decision. We just need people that will tell them the honest to God truth, not from the left perspective, not from the right perspective, but from their own perspective to see what is up.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. But again, bro, I want to thank you for allowing me to come up, man. Like I said, I want to thank you for shouting me out my channel. I really appreciate that, man. And
Anytime.
yeah, and I wish great things for your channel, man. I really enjoy coming up and listening to you and watching you. And I just wanted to come up and say hi to you and have a conversation with you. So I appreciate you letting me up, man. Thank you.
Not a problem. Not a problem. Come back sometime.
I definitely will, man. Definitely will.
All right
You have
now.
a good one. Have a good night.
You too. I was not wrong. Why did I start off with that? I was wrong about Anton Daniels. I had to admit, I was very, very wrong. Um, Real quick sidebar about that whole Corey Holcomb situation. Um, I could care less now. I could care less. It's not about if he hit the woman or not. That's not my concern. What my concern is what's going on in the world today. Um, Him hitting the girl, he'll pay for it. If not, he'll pay for it down the line. Um, Darlene is a real disappointment, but it is what it is. My main focus is not only on my children, but children's children. And this administration is not making it any better. It's not making it any better for these lies that they constantly keep spreading, the deflections that are constantly keep going. The deflection is just massive. But this is what happens when the government protects millionaires and billionaires. This is what happens. And I'm not saying have no government because there are many branches of government. But the people I'm talking about that us Gen Xers and baby boomers possibly know, when it comes to the federal government, they're not for your protection. They're for the protection of America. And if you are not an American, that's a problem. Now let's keep going. Is that what they were? No. Oh, here it is.
Of criminal aliens, including in my home state of California, people who have hurt other people, people who have victimized.
And thank you for highlighting that, Congressman.
Thank you. I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. The gentlelady from Washington is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Attorney General Bondi. We are joined in this room by some of the thousands of survivors from Jeffrey Epstein's horrific sex trafficking ring. They have shown such incredible courage in speaking out, in demanding accountability to bring the predators to file justice. The Epstein Files Transparency Act required your Department of Justice disclose perpetrators' connect activities and to redact the information of survivors to protect their. First, in violation of the law, your department has shown a pattern of redacting the names of powerful predators to a man whose name was redacted. The email reads, quote, "Where are you?" Name of this individual, Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem, the chairman and CEO of a company that had financial ties to President Trump's business and personal ties to Trump's advisors, Steve Bannon. Second, the survivors were not similar to other email titled Epstein Victim List. We have blurred the names of the survivors for their protection, but your Department of Justice initially released this list of name redacted, along with numerous files that disclose not only the names, the emails, and the addresses of survivors, but also nude photographs. And
somebody check to see if I'm alive in another stream somewhere. Because somebody check to see if or this is just the only one.
Even the identities of Jane Does who had been protected for decades until your department released their names. Survivors are now telling us that their families are finding out for the first time that they were trafficked by Epstein. In their words, quote, "This release does not provide closure. It feels like a deliberate attempt to intimidate survivors, punish those who came forward, and reinforce the same culture of secrecy that allowed Epstein's crimes to continue for decades." To the survivors in the room, if you are willing, please stand. And if you are willing, please raise your hands. If you've not been able, please know for the record that every single survivor has raised their hand. Attorney General Bondi.
They didn't. Oh, they weren't going to show that? They obviously wasn't going to show that? I would have actually shown them, but because of protection purposes, I guess.
You apologize to the survivors in your opening statement for what they went through at the hands of Epstein. Justice has put them through with the absolutely unacceptable release of the Epstein file.
Congresswoman, you sat for Merrick Garland sat in this chair twice.
Attorney General
Twice.
Bondi.
No, can I finish my answer?
No, I'm going to reclaim my time because I asked you a specific question
Attorney General
that I
can
would
respond to your
like you
question.
to answer. Is will you turn to the survivors? This is not about anybody that cares about you taking responsibility.
And people will call me an idiot for believing in such nonsense about Trump. These girls were asking for it. Did you see how they were smiling? They were smiling. They weren't full of tears. They weren't full of this and they weren't full of that. They were full of tears. I honestly have a real issue, and I can see it in my mind when I astral project images of me choking the shit out of these people and just ripping their throats out. You cannot be this damn evil and come online onto, if no matter if it's in the chat or on or somebody's platform, you cannot be this damn evil. I used to think it was impossible. It's impossible for a person to even say these words. I shot this woman 5 times and she had 7 holes. The extra 2 holes, I already know what they're talking about. But you shot a innocent woman 5 times, right? I'll go another direction. Again, why did this woman not call the police? Weren't they on an island? And on this particular island, correct me if I'm wrong, people, on this particular island, there were no phones, right? You had to give up, and I might be off my rocker, I might be talking about somebody else, but didn't they have your personal information already? They had your personal information. They knew where you live. They knew where your parents stayed. They knew where your grandmama stayed. They knew where you worked. They know they had your social security card. They had all those particular things. So why in the fuck would I want to think in my brain that they had freedom to talk to the police, even though they had these were powerful influencers? I won't call them influencers. I will call them manipulators. Powerful manipulators. We're talking millionaires and billionaires. Trump, we all know. Epstein, we all know. Hell, I'll even throw Clinton in there. We all know. All of us know. Very powerful influencers in there who, if you told one truth about them, something were to happen to you. We already know what happened to the limo driver because this particular individual was snooping in on Trump's phone call. The next day, she allegedly had her head severed. People are very naive to these things, especially in this generation.
Responsibility for your Department of Justice and the harm that it has done to the survivors or right to and them and apologize for your Department of Justice.
Bridget, to ask the questions.
She doesn't like the
my
answer.
time.
So,
Mr. Chairman,
why
I have asked
didn't she ask Merrick Garland this?
I am
twice
reclaiming
when he
my
sat in my
time, and when
chair?
I
Will
claim my
continue to
time,
answer.
it
Mr.
is
Chairman, the
my
gentleman has
time.
reclaimed
I'm
her
not going
time.
to get in the gutter for her theatrics.
The time belongs to the time belongs.
Because she asked you a question? Is this how is this how that works? Damn. But if it were Obama, give him the electric chair.
To the gentlelady. The gentlelady has 17 seconds.
Thank you. You're not going to answer this question, so let me just
Chairman,
say
I'll
this.
direct it to
What a
you.
massive
No, I'm
cover-up.
answering questions.
will you restore her time? The interrupted.
This woman.
You can proceed with your final
Thank you.
17 seconds.
What a massive cover-up this has been and continues to be. Donald Trump made the release of the Epstein files the center of his political campaign because he thought it would benefit him. Into office, General Clarence
Regular order.
That there was no list. Your deputy, Todd Blanche, met.
Oh, they did say that there was no such thing as Epstein files. They did say that, correct? They did say that. And they also said that Trump was nowhere near that file. No, his name didn't even come up once. It came up 1,000 times. Oh, Lisa, real quick, I have something for you. It's a real treat. Would you like to see? This is for you. Ooh. Ooh, hey. Let's see here. Criminal investigation. Federal, basically the FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation, Miami field officer is assisting the Palm Beach Police Department in Florida in an ongoing investigation into Jeffrey Epstein, a U.S. citizen, along with associates. Epstein is believed to manipulate underage, that's what the word is, manipulate underage girls from local high schools to perform massage and sexual acts at his residence. The victims were usually recruited by other underage females, and after performing various acts were paid some lump sums of money in the 200 to 1,000 range. And then, of course, I hate this redacting shit, so. Shall we continue? I lied. My bad.
Who are standing right behind you and on a human level.
Chairman,
Chair now
apologizing
recognizes the chair.
on what you have done.
Time of the gentlelady
yield
expired.
back.
The gentlelady, you have no time to yield back.
Theatrics.
We appreciate that. We appreciate the thought.
Department did not redact the names of Epstein's victims, but it did redact the names of their abusers. I don't know whether this is incompetence or whether it was, but either way, any of these perpetrators to justice. Instead, it has engaged in a relentless pursuit of Donald Trump's perceived enemies. I want to focus on just one example. The Attorney General of my home state, Tish James. This DOJ has been hell-bent on securing an indictment against Ms. James for something, anything, simply because she held Donald Trump's companies accountable for years of financial fraud. And indeed, the department manufactured an investigation. Eric Siebert, a Trump appointee, refused to bring charges against Ms. James because there was simply no evidence. Unfortunately, a prosecutor who refuses to do Trump has no play. Trump could not contain his fury that he expressed to you in a social media post addressed to you by name. I'm sure you've seen it. Quote, I fired him and there was a great case to you about Mr. Siebert. Then we moved down. We can't delay any longer. It's killing our reputation and credibility. They impeached me twice and indicted me 5 times. over nothing. Justice must be served now. And obviously, you followed that order. Lindsay Halligan, Trump's former defense lawyer, who had never first prosecuted James. Halligan immediately sought an indictment, which a court dismissed because Halligan was illegally put into the role. But your department was undeterred, and not once, but twice, it tried to indict Attorney General James in separate courts. Both grand juries rejected you and refused to indict her. It is practically unheard of for a grand jury to refuse an indictment. In 2016, it happened in just 6 cases out of over 150,000 offenses. And you had it happen twice in the same week in 2 different courts. That must have been humiliating. And now there are reports that you are continuing to investigate her. The amount of resources that have gone into targeting Attorney General James, months of investigations, multiple failed indictments, is astounding. Since your own prosecutors told you that there is not enough evidence to support a conviction, it's clear that you were going after her simply because she held President Trump accountable and he wants to punish her. And she is just one name on a long list of Trump political enemies that DOJ is reportedly targeting. From Jerome Powell and Lisa Cook at the Federal Reserve to James Comey, numerous Democratic members of Congress, John Brennan, Jack Smith, Democratic officials in Minnesota, Chris Krebs, Miles Taylors, and more. And those are just the ones we know about. In contrast to these politically motivated investigations, grasping at something they can charge their enemies with, we now have concrete evidence of disgusting criminality revealed in the Epstein files. So I really have just one question for you. How many of Epstein's co-conspirators have you indicted? How many perpetrators are you even investigating?
Before she answers the question, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to We-On-Loc Nation channel. I'm streaming on both screens, so I'm on the verge of saying F YouTube for right now because they're a bunch of bigots, and I refuse to remain in bigotry anymore. I refuse. They even say, why did I get they won't even tell me why I got demonetized in the first place. And quite frankly, a lawyer is, to have a lawyer involved in this nonsense is very, very, very vague. So I'll just say screw them for right now. I can just do whatever the hell I want. So, but for right now, my concern, for those who is just coming in, my main concern is for the victims and for the children of this nation. Because what I am about to put on here is very disturbing. Very disturbing for the human eye to see. And if it makes you feel uncomfortable, I understand. If you heard this before, let's continue to rock.
First, you showed I followed the question.
Answer my question.
No, I'm going to answer the question the way I want to answer the question.
No,
Your
you're going to answer the
theatrics are
question the way I
ridiculous.
asked it.
Chairman Jordan, I'm not going to get in the gutter with these people,
How many
but
of you-
I'm going to answer the question.
How many of you indicted?
Again, the time belongs to
Reclaiming my time.
the time belongs.
I think it's very
Reclaiming
interesting.
my time.
I think it's very
Reclaiming my time.
interesting.
And you can
that
reclaim
he
your
talks
time.
Hold on a second. She has a very important question. I chose you. They were trafficking women all over the world. I know. I heard you. Yes, that's my whole point. But it's not just the trafficking I'm talking about. It's not just the trafficking that I'm talking about. But I'm gonna get to all. Don't worry, Lisa. I'm going to get to all that very soon enough. Don't worry. I'm gonna get to all that soon enough. I only see us, Barb. Well, I only got. Well, again, StreamYard is real funny, but I'm trying other memes, and right now I'm successful in one chat. successful in one stream versus another. So I'm gonna go with that logic. So I'm just gonna go with it. But when it comes to address you, I'm going to get to it. But for those who have strong stomachs, or weak stomachs, I wouldn't recommend you come in. Recommend you come in. I wouldn't recommend you to do anything. For those who don't have strong stomachs, because what I'm about to reveal is, and I'm letting you know beforehand that this is something that is real and is reality. And if you don't like reality, I don't know what to tell you. This has been revealed for years. All of this has been revealed since George Bush, I would say. You said George Bush Sr.? All of this has been revealed since George Bush Sr. was in office. And I think this was after Reagan. Right after Reagan. So here we go.
About they indicted, the president said they indicted him twice.
Mr. Chairman, please stop the clock and restore his time.
Okay, here we go with these theatrics.
The time belongs to the gentleman from New York. We will give you a few more seconds. We will do that. But when you ask a question, the witness gets to answer. You may not like the answer, but she gets to answer.
The question was, how many of Epstein's...
They don't like the answer, Chairman,
my time.
because it's honest. So he asked a 4-minute question.
Restore 45 seconds, Mr. Nadler, please, Mr. Chairman.
Answer.
You can let her filibuster all day long, but not on our watch. Not on our time. No way. And I told you about that, Attorney General, before you started.
You don't tell me.
Yeah, I did tell you because we saw what you did in the Senate.
You're a lawyer, not even a lawyer.
Committee will be in order.
Time, and I should get back at least 45 seconds.
We will give you a few more seconds. I said that already.
45 seconds.
Okay, I'm timing right now, Mr. Nadler.
All right.
My time. The answer to my question, how many of Epstein's co-conspirators has she indicted, is 0. You have been the Attorney General for a whole year, and your DOJ fired the lead prosecutor of this case, sat on evidence this entire time, and claimed falsely last July that there were no more leads. It took an act of Congress for you to finally release part of the Epstein files, and when you did, you included personal information about the victims while protecting the names of abusers.
Time of the gentleman has expired.
Brought to justice, but enormous resources.
Time of the gentleman has expired. And obviously,
clear that under your leadership,
back.
May I answer?
I think our next questioner, Madam Attorney General, is going to give you time to respond to.
Thank you, Chairman.
All kinds of things. So we will turn to the gentleman from Texas for 5 minutes.
Ms. Bondi, you go right ahead. I'm over here. The time is yours.
Thank you. First, he brought up the president saying they indicted me twice. They sure did. They tried to impeach him twice. And you, Mr. Nadler, were one of the leads on the impeachment. I was on the other side. I lived that with you. During impeachment, you said the president conspired, sought foreign interference in the 2016 election. Robert Mueller found no evidence, none, of foreign interference in 2016. Have you apologized to President Trump? Have you apologized to President Trump, all of you who participated in those impeachment hearings against Donald Trump? You all should be apologizing. You sit here and you attack.
Notice, again, going by script. You should all be apologizing to Trump. Well, what about the victims of Epstein? Fuck these kids! It's all about Trump. This is the world that we live in. This is democracy. This is the total democracy.
The president, and I am not going to have it. I'm not going to put up with it. You know, all they want to do, all the American people need to know this. They are talking about Epstein today. This has been around since the Obama administration. This administration released over 3 million pages of documents, over 3 million. And Donald Trump signed that law to release all of those documents. He is the most transparent president in the nation's history. And none of them ask Merrick Garland over the last 4 years one word about Jeffrey Epstein. How ironic is that? You know why? Because Donald Trump, the Dow right now is over. The Dow is over $50,000. I don't know why you're laughing. You're a great stock trader, as I hear, Raskin. The Dow is over 50,000 right now. The S&P at almost 7,000. And the NASDAQ smashing records.
Who gives a shit about the Dow? Who gives a shit about who gives a shit about Robinhood right now? Who gives a shit about the stock? Who gives a shit about fucking Bitcoin? Who gives a shit about that? The lady specifically asked you, and of course there was another question follow up behind that. Could you at least look at the victims? You didn't want to do that. This is the reason why these people who are survivors, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. They're not victims anymore. They are survivors. I do humbly apologize. The survivors are not protected at all, which makes me think and believe that if this were an ongoing thing, those, and I believe there are a lot of people who practice common sense and would defend their families, those who get snatched up, or those who have, I'll start off this way. Those who have children, protect them. Those children who are over the age of 18 and blah, 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 you don't have to worry too much about them. But those who are underage, because that's how it starts. Those who are underage, and people think that human trafficking is just a one-time thing. No, it isn't. It's an everyday thing. Kids get snatched up at the ages of 11 to 16. They get snatched up, and either they're used for organs, organ trafficking, or sex trafficking. And after 48 hours, you will never recognize them ever again because of what the pain and the suffering and the anguish they get put through. Just letting you know that. But the stock exchange is gone. Bullshit.
Americans' 401ks and retirement savings are booming. That's what we should be talking about. We should be talking about making Americans safe. We should be talking about, what does the Dow have to do with anything? That's what they just asked. Are you kidding?
Mr. Jordan, Mr. Jordan, am I going to get an extra 45?
Did you hear Jasmine in the background? Hey, Mama got she got that the belt to ass syndrome. That's why I came out with that video. Whoop that trick. You know what? I'll skip to that too. Skip to that. Hold on. Did she say what I think she just said? Hold on.
I find it.
How many have you indicted?
Excuse me. I'm going to answer the question.
Answer my question.
No, I'm going to answer the question the way I want to answer the question.
No, you're going to answer the question the way I asked it.
Chairman Jordan, I'm not going to get in the gutter with these people.
You didn't hear her? Oh, shit. Hold on.
I'm going to answer the question.
How many of you indicted? Again, the time belongs
Reclaiming my time.
The time belongs
I think it's very
Reclaiming
interesting.
my time.
I think it's very
Reclaiming my
interesting.
time.
And you can
that
reclaim
he
your
talks
time,
about they
reclaiming my time,
indicted.
Mr.
The
Chairman.
president said they
Close the
indicted
clock.
him
Mr.
twice.
Mr. Chairman, please
They
stop the
sure
clock and
did.
stop the
he
clock and
indicted-
restore his time.
Okay, here we go with these
Committee will be in order.
theatrics.
The time
Reclaiming my
belongs to
time
the
and
gentleman
yield
from
back
New
the clock,
York.
please.
We will give you a few more seconds. We will do that. But when
Reclaiming
you
my-
ask a question, the
The
witness
question
gets to
was-
answer. You may not like the answer, but she
Right.
gets to
The
answer.
question was, how many of Epstein's...
They don't like the answer,
Reclaiming
Chairman,
my time.
because it's honest.
Reclaim-
He asked a
Reclaiming my
4-minute
time.
question.
Restore 45
and
seconds,
I am
Mr. Nadler,
going
please,
to
Mr. Chairman.
answer.
You can let her filibuster all day long, but not on our watch, on our time. No way. And I told you about that, Attorney General, before you
You
started.
don't tell me.
Yeah, oh, I did tell you because we saw what you did in the
You're a
Senate.
lawyer, not even a lawyer.
Committee will be in order.
Time, and I should get back at least 45 seconds.
We will give you a few more seconds. I said that already.
45 seconds.
Oh. Okay, I mean,
Invited is 0. You have been the general for a whole year, and your DOJ, the prosecutor of this case, sat on evidence this entire time and claimed falsely there were no more leads. Took an act to finally release part of the Epstein files, and when you did, you included personal information about the victims while protecting the names of the abusers.
time, gentlemen, is expired.
Brought to justice, but enormous resources dedicated
Has and
clear that I yield back.
the gentleman yields back.
May I answer?
I think our next questioner, Madam Attorney General, is going to give time to
Thank you, Chairman.
all kinds of things. We'll turn to the gentleman from Texas for 5 minutes.
Ms. Bondi, you go right ahead. I'm over here. Time is yours.
Thank you. First, he brought up the president saying they indicted twice. They sure did. They tried to impeach him twice. And you, Mr. Nadler, were one of the leads on impeachment. I was on the other side. I lived with you. During it, you said the president conspired, sought foreign interference, 2016 election. Robert Mueller found no evidence of interference in 2016. Have you apologized? Have you apologized? You sit here and you attack the president, and I am not going to have it. I'm not going to put up with it. You know, all you do, all their administration, this administration released over 3 million pages of documents. Over 3 million. Trump signed that law to release all of those documents. He is the most transparent president in the nation's killing over the last 4 years.
Bullshit.
One word about Jeffrey Epstein. How ironic is that? You know why? Because Donald Trump, the Dow right now is over, the Dow is over 50,000.
We're living in delusion land. We're living in the freaking Twilight Zone. We're talking about survivors of children who are now older adults. Who are survivors? How did that become? No, it's more than screwed. It's more than screwed, my dear. It's more than that. We were just talking about people who were survivors of child trafficking and possibly cannibal molestation. Children are getting sacrificed. And your only main concern is what we're winning in okay. I'm trying not to cuss. I'm really trying not. No, fuck this bitch. Fuck this little Lily, crazy K bitch. She has no conscience. She has no conscience whatsoever. And all to be damned. We're talking about child trafficking. She's talking about what's happening in the goddamn, what's happening in Bitcoin. Like, what the fuck?
I don't know why you're laughing. You're a great stock trader, as I hear, Raskin. The Dow is over 50,000 right now. The S&P at almost 7,000. And the NASDAQ smashing records. Americans' 401ks and retirement savings are booming. That's what we should be talking about. We should be talking about making Americans safe. We should be talking about, what does a Dow have to do with anything? That's what they just asked. Are you kidding?
Mr. Jordan, Mr. Jordan.
Committee will be in order.
Mr. Jordan, am I going to get an extra 45 seconds added to my time?
The committee will be in order. The time belongs.
Did you hear that time?
To the gentleman from Texas, Ms. Bondi, the Attorney General can respond.
Thank you. The Dow has shattered 50,000 for the first.
By an CIA official, the same officer said when he approached the
Trump's name from the Epstein files, were those reports accurate?
I believe his name has appeared countless times in the documents
how
that
many
have
people were
been released.
assigned?
If I could finish, I'm going to read you the stats.
I just simply asked whether or not it was true that it was 1,000 folks who were assigned that task. Were those reports accurate?
There are more than 500 attorneys and reviewers. I cannot give you an exact number.
And I wanted to ask you about that also, because this is a different question that you're getting to now. There were 500 DOJ lawyers and others.
Well, she don't remind. Let's just pretend I'm a 4-year-old and I don't know shit. Was she doing this on purpose? Does anybody know if she was doing this on purpose or not? Because I'm lost in the sauce. I really am lost in the fucking sauce. I'm like a little baby going, huh? I think she's just dumb and has nothing to defend any of this. I guess I could take your word for it, but again, she's just protecting Trump. She's protecting Trump. She's protecting Epstein. We have to put her in that position. She is protecting the evil spirit of Epstein. She's calling on me, but you protecting Trump means you're protecting Epstein. So that's a contradiction all in itself. Oops, wrong one.
Was assigned the task of redacting the appropriate information, including identities of Epstein from the Epstein files to their release. 500, is that correct?
I could have finished my answer. There are more than 500 reviewers who assisted with the. They asked the question and they don't want an answer.
That answers my question, ma'am, and I'm going to move on. I'm going to move on.
From multiple
Bondi, would you
be in
agree?
order? The time belongs to the gentleman from Georgia.
General Bondi, would you agree that your 8 years of service as the state of Florida's Attorney General, the third largest state in the nation, served as an excellent for your current role as Attorney General for the United States of America?
Not only that, I was career prosecutor for
18 years. And for 18 years, 18 years.
He asked a
you
question and doesn't want an answer. The
for-
theatrics.
Well, 18 years you prosecuted serious felony cases, including drug cases, correct?
Oh, I prosecuted homicides. I prosecuted capital cases. I prosecuted victims. And did you ask Merrick Garland?
You also prosecuted sexual assault cases and child sex trafficking cases, correct?
I answered that question earlier.
Okay.
I prosecuted multiple cases when I was.
That said I was never suspected of wrongdoing and only helped the investigation. But that didn't stop the death threats or my GOP colleagues from referring me to an ethics investigation where Kevin McCarthy's chairman on the ethics committee would find the same thing as the FBI. Our current FBI director would then write a book called Government Gangsters and identify
who want to work with us. And yes, we're going to do everything we can to keep our citizens safe, whether or not these Democrat-controlled sanctuary cities do or don't.
And damn it, that's what really matters. I yield back.
Mr. Chair, I have a UC.
Ms. Crockett from Texas is recognized for UC.
Thank you so much. Donald Trump's approval rating implodes on his strongest issue. This is from Newsweek today. It says 40% of people approve of Trump's handling of immigration and border security, while 60% disapprove.
Without objection,
That is a net
admitted.
drop
Now I
to
recognize the gentleman
-20.
from California, Mr. Liu.
Thank you, Attorney General Bondi, for being here today. I'm going to show you two photos.
Thank you.
I'm going to show you two photos of former Prince Andrew. Prince Andrew attended various parties with Jeffrey Epstein. Under the law Congress passed, you were allowed to redact photos to protect the victims of Epstein's sex trafficking.
I'm sorry if I was on mute. Do you know if that was a child? Lisa, Barb, do you know if that was a child or not? You said you need to see it again? Here. This is Prince Andrew.
operation. You redacted the photos of this victim's face because you were following the congressional law. Is that correct?
I'm sorry that we redacted the victim's
Because you were
face?
following the congressional law, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You have now established that please put the photos back up, that we are looking at a sex trafficking victim. Under the Federal Victims Trafficking Protection Act, not only is Jeffrey Epstein guilty, but anyone who patronizes Epstein's sex operation is also guilty of a crime. That's why I find it absolutely despicable that you sought to protect Epstein's clients like former Prince Andrew. Last July, you closed the case on Epstein's abusers. The July 2025 memo from your Department of Justice stated, quote, "We did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties." These two photos, please put the photos back up. These two photos staring you in the face are evidence of a crime and more than enough evidence to predicate an investigation against former Prince Andrew. So I ask you, Attorney General Pam Bondi, why did you shut down this investigation last July, and why have you not prosecuted former Prince Andrew?
I don't believe you asked Merrick Garland these questions when he was Attorney General and set before.
I agree with you.
You twice.
I'm reclaiming my time.
Never
I agree with
mentioned it.
you. I agree with you. During
Were you not here
the Biden administration, I called for people looking at Epstein files. Merrick Garland dropped the ball, as did Attorney General Bill Barr, as did Alex Acosta, a whole string of failures. But you are in charge. You have the power to change things, to hold these men accountable. And you're doing the opposite. You're protecting them. So I want to move on to another man.
Can I answer
Donald
that,
Trump.
though?
I want to move on to another
Can I answer
question.
your question about protecting?
You answered the question.
You're saying no. I love this.
I want to discuss another man, Donald Trump, who is all over the Epstein files, like former Prince. Here's the video. Like former Prince Andrew, Donald Trump attended various parties with Jeffrey Epstein. I want to know, were there any underage girls at that party or at any party that Trump attended with Jeffrey Epstein?
This is so ridiculous, and that they are trying to deflect from all the great things Donald Trump has done. There is no evidence that Donald Trump has committed a crime. Everyone knows that. This has been the most transparent presidency. He's the one that asked that those files.
I'm reclaiming my time. I got your answer. You said there's no evidence.
President Trump asked
Chairman, please stop the clock.
sign
the clock.
the legislation. This is
Time.
this
I'd like
is
to reclaim my
ridiculous.
time.
Time belongs to the gentleman from California.
Okay.
If he was a little bit more stern, me, I wouldn't ask no questions. You're guilty in the discussion. But I have asked a question. Can a head general of the Department of Justice, can she be impeached? Can she be impeached? But we can make her impeach. We can impeach her, right? We can actually impeach her, right?
I'm going to put up another document from a witness who called the FBI's National Threat Operations Center. Because I just don't. immediately. Epstein should rot in hell. So should the men who patronized his operation. And as we sit here today, there are over 1,000 sex trafficking victims, and you have not held a single man accountable.
1,000? 1,000. On an island like that? Which makes me think, was Jay-Z involved? Which makes me think, was Jay-Z involved?
Shame on you. If you had any decency, you would resign right after this hearing concludes.
The gentleman has expired.
May I respond?
Yeah, I don't know how you respond. No one can.
I did not ask a question,
He
Mr.
doesn't
You're allowed
want to talk
to.
about
I did
the
not ask a
horrific
question.
crime in California. He does not want to talk about
I did not ask a
crime
question.
in his
She
state.
can't just add lib stuff. I did not ask a question.
Meeting will be in order. The gentleman has yielded back his time. I think our next witness will be more than happy to let the Attorney General.
Madam
respond.
Attorney General, would you like to?
Gentleman from Alabama is recognized for 5 minutes.
You have a few minutes.
We've
seen happen in D.C., what we saw happen in Memphis, and what I would love to see.
We're not going to go through this whole entire thing because this was a whole 3-hour. I'm just speechless right now, bro. It's not that I didn't know anything about what the. Just got back from the hotel. You still going? Yes, cuz. Come on through, cuzzo. Come on through, cuzzo. Yeah, just settle back, kick back and enjoy yourself. Kick back. Let me know when you're coming up. Let me know when you're coming up. I'll let you in. But back to what I was saying. I'm speechless. I am totally speechless. And we know we got people out there who will excuse this type of stuff. That's my only concern. That was not a concern of mine because I just ignore the people who just act ignorant to the simple fact that, you know, this is a real life situation. This right here is just as real as it gets. We're talking about over 1,000. Talking about over 1,000 people, not just young girls, mind you, but young boys. Young boys. Boys. Mind you, there is sex trafficking all across the globe, places where you had never ever heard before, but obviously there are some people who obviously had took onus of that. What happened to Christian values? I don't know. Ask Pam Bondi. Ask Donald Trump. He proclaims to be a Christian. That's why he's having all these Christian wars, right? Hell, even the Klansman's a Christian. Ain't that right, Fred?
In some ways, if we could ever get our governor to work with us in North Carolina to happen in Charlotte. But with that, I yield back. Thank you.
Time of the gentleman has expired. The gentleman is recognized.
Thank you. I seek unanimous consent to introduce into the record the research that Representative Kamlager-Dove and I referenced concerning the threat of right-wing domestic terrorism, which the Department of Justice scrubbed from its website in September.
Yeah, thanks a lot for that, Joey. Please, sir. We can't if the signed document again with her, a lot of people will need the House to go again against her. But they control the House after the next vote will do. But Sikh's got to turn blue. That's all there is to it.
Without objection, the gentlelady from
Thank
Texas
you.
is recognized.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. And to be clear, I'm not going to ask any questions of this witness because this witness has revealed that she has no intentions of answering questions. But instead, I'm going to ask some very basic questions really quickly of my colleague, Becca Ballant, if she will answer right or wrong, raping children.
Wrong.
Right or wrong, killing random citizens.
Definitely wrong.
Right or wrong, enriching yourself as the sitting president of the United States.
Definitely wrong.
Okay, thank you, because I probably never would have got that with our witness. Our witness who somehow is a lawyer but does not understand how it works with witnesses. I'm not really sure what law school she went to and what all kind of cases she tried, but typically when you come into a space and somebody's a witness, then they sit there and they answer questions instead of asking questions. And then we also have this objection that we use as lawyers called non-responsive when a witness fails to actually answer the question. But nevertheless, let me address the survivors because that's exactly who they are. They are not victims, they are survivors. Let me say thank you for having more courage and moral clarity in your pinky fingers than the entire Department of Justice. We are currently the laughing stock of the world, partially because of the failed leadership within the DOJ as we see kings and queens falling everywhere.
Is man-boy love a sin? Is girl on girl a sin? Ain't that in your Bible? I have a better question for you. Who written your Bible? Get back to me.
Around the world, but we don't know the basics of right and wrong in this country because it's not about partisanship. And that's why I applaud Thomas Massey, because he's the only person on the Republican side that has a backbone and knows how to stand up to corruption. But nevertheless, let me keep going. My Democratic colleagues have been attacked this entire committee hearing. They have been lied on, and frankly, the American people weren't looking for that. They were looking for answers about the corruption that they see coming from this administration. In the written testimony of this witness, of this particular witness, she stated that when she took office, she had two main goals. The first was to end the weaponization of justice, and second, to return the department to its core mission. Not only have you lied about both, you've intentionally done the exact opposite. You're spending more taxpayer resources arresting journalists than you are prosecuting pedophiles and creeps. In fact, your boss, the President of the United States, stated that this administration, quote, took the freedom of speech away. And at your direction, DOJ has arrested Don Lemon and Georgia Fort. And I might add that y'all actually had a judge that rejected y'all for trying to arrest Don Lemon before, just like the grand jury rejected y'all as it relates to Senator Kelly, just like a grand jury rejected y'all as it relates to Senator Slotkin, just like the case against Tish James was dismissed and the case against Mr. Comey was dismissed. I completely don't get how it is that you're sitting at the top of DOJ because you don't seem to be.
Those are the victims, or those are the survivors, excuse me. The ones that are standing in the corner.
Good at your job. You're spending more taxpayer resources arresting these journalists. In fact, we know after Georgia Fort and Don Lemon were arrested, we know that there were homes of journalists that were raided. We know that threatened prosecution against students protesting your actions and forced tech companies to remove apps used to track ISIS activities. But let's circle back to you protecting pedophiles and creeps, because I want to talk about the president and his possible involvement with Jeffrey Epstein. Now, I don't know what the president might have done with Jeffrey Epstein, but unlike this administration, I believe that facts matter. So let's talk about the facts. Fact number one, Donald Trump is one of the most named people in the Epstein files. At least 5,000 files contains more than 38,000 references to Trump, his wife, or Mar-a-Lago. Fact number two, Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell made young girls available to Trump on multiple occasions. For example, according to this file, Ghislaine Maxwell presented a young girl to President Trump who spent more than 20 minutes apparently flirting with her. Here's another example. This shows notes from FBI investigators described Jeffrey Epstein transporting a victim to meet with President Trump, where he bragged to Trump that, quote, "this is a good one." Now, I'm not saying that the president is a pedophile, but there is a lot of evidence that suggests that he's very close friends with a lot of men who are pedophiles. What's crazy about all of this is just that this is a big cover-up, and this administration is engaged in it. In fact, this administration is complicit. But there are numerous others, like how the DOJ is attempting to obstruct justice in the investigation of the rogue American citizens, of how the DOJ sees voters from Tom Homan on tape accepting a bribe and your agency killed the investigation, or how your agency is ready to give the president a $230 million day payday. It's clear. The president shall not leave any necessary office. The fact will be remembered as one of the worst attorneys in history. Fealty to the president over loyalty to the Constitution. And Mr. Chairman, I will yield.
Gentlelady yields. Gentleman from Missouri is recognized. Excuse me, gentleman from Kansas, the Attorney General, former Attorney General, Mr. Schmidt is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and General Bondi, thanks for being here. Did you have anything you wanted to say before we?
I did. Congressman, thank you, my friend, for many years. I find it interesting that she didn't even want to talk Congresswoman Crockett to ask any questions, because from Jeff Epstein, after Epstein was convicted. And brief to give you your time, Congressman, this is what she didn't want to talk about. Texas, from Cuba, convicted, homicide, arson, weapon offense.
Convicted. You know, so what we talking about? Convict some of these perpetrators that rape these women that are sitting behind you. Refuse to even acknowledge they are here.
Time belongs to the gentleman from Kansas.
Mr. Chairman, could I have a few seconds back?
Texas, convicted of homicide. Cecil Joseph from Dominican Republic. Texas, convicted for kidnapping, rape, and not with.
Wow. One person. One person after another. So I would say that would be a good 0.5% versus millions and millions of people who have pillaged and plundered and raped our ancestry throughout the earth, but let me not go there. Thank you for coming to the channel. Thank you for coming to the We-On-Loc channel. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm choking over my own spit. Welcome to the We-On-Loc channel. We're just about to go over something that's very, very crazy, and if you have a strong stomach, or if you don't have a strong stomach, please don't allow yourself up in here, because it's about to get crazy in a minute. As a matter of fact, we don't have to go through all this, because this was like 3 hours. This was damn near 3 hours. Let's see. What particularly, my question is, what particularly, possibly, maybe, was Epstein up to? Let's just see, shall we?
In the newly released Epstein files, people are starting to be very concerned because of code words, it seems, that Jeffrey Epstein is using in his emails, one of them being jerky. And there is speculation now, and a lot of people are starting to wonder, was beef jerky code word for human flesh? As in, was Jeffrey Epstein a cannibal? So I'm not gonna state my opinion. I'm just gonna go ahead and read you guys, or at least not state my opinion right away. I'm just gonna go ahead and read you guys some of these emails. There's a lot of emails related to beef jerky, and it does come off odd. I'll say that it does come off odd when you read the emails, and we'll start seeing if there's any dots that we can connect. So I'm using here to go through all of the emails is jmail.world. It's basically the Department of Justice's newly released Epstein files. I think Drop Site News worked together, and there was a lot of like coders that put together this website. So if you go to jmail.world, it's really, really nice because it's very user friendly to see all of the Epstein files.
I just want to let you know that it doesn't matter who was involved. If your name is Jeffrey Epstein and your prior name had to be connected to all these particular people, except for Michael Jackson. Real story for those who don't know about Michael Jackson and his history. He wasn't playing that dumb shit. They had literally had kids show up to his house, and he was trying to make up for the people who obviously gave their kids away to mainstream to be pimped out by the masses. As a matter of fact, he was, I would consider, a whistleblower. Yes, Michael Jackson himself. And we can go into many different scenarios of how he got murdered or whatever. Was it part of the music? Was it the music? Was it the ownership? That was part of it. But the other part, the other part of it was of who was merely after him because of the simple fact that he found out some shit that he shouldn't have found out.
As if they were in an email format in Jeffrey Epstein's inbox. And he's going back and forth with this lady named Jenny Enterprise. I miss you. How are you? Love you tons. Great, great, great. Miss you. Are you still eating beef jerky for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? And he responds back by saying this. So that seems, kind of normal. Maybe he really just was on some sort of diet. I don't know about you guys, but I've done weird in the past where I've tried like a full-on paleo diet or a full-on meat diet. That was a thing I did a few years ago. So if you're really into like different sort of lifestyles and dieting, that could be the case. And then you go on and you read a little bit more, and it's, there's 781 emails to beef jerky. And some of them are liars. Jeffrey asked if some key for him. Would it be a batch of beef jerky for Jeffrey Epstein? Running out. He's consistently running out of beef jerky. And it goes on and on and on, talking about beef jerky, the way you should make the beef jerky, how it should be continuously seasoned. Would it be possible for you to make another batch of Jeff Epstein again? Hi, Leslie. Jeff, have the beef jerky tested for nutritional value. So maybe he really was just obsessed with, the content of with his diet and really wanting to understand the value that clear very first.
Do we not understand what this particular person is talking about? Beef jerky. We all should know, or allegedly, since everybody says alleged. Humans put it in that way. Just put it that way. He ran out of beef jerky. He ran out of human beings to eat. Are we not surprised about that shit?
At 71st, please get it. Also, Blank has one more at her place. Please get it from her as well and bring it all with you. I suppose it needs to be in a cold, insulated bag, right? Thank you. My concern is if.
What does that tell you?
Beef jerky was code word for something more sinister. How would so many people be in on this and it be completely fine? How would so many people be in on the fact that there is human flesh being served? I mean, honestly, it's really disgusting just thinking about it. And to me, it just seems, it sounds crazy. It really does sound crazy. But the thing is, so far, all of the.
Yes. Yeah, the private chef owned many of restaurants. One of them was named Cannibal. And even at his place of residence, Epstein's place of residence, you see nothing but faces on the wall. You see nothing but faces. Now, allegedly, those faces were either um, uh, uh, either ripped off physically, or they just plain made mantles out of them. Whichever came first. Whichever came first. Right up there with Jeffrey Dahmer.
Epstein files sound crazy, so it's really hard sometimes to decipher what could be true and what's not. But so far, so we're just seeing a lot of this like weird talk about beef jerky. Maybe he really did just have some weird weird interest in beef jerky. He really was into his diet. Hi, Jeffrey. He said he would like to take beef jerky to the ranch. Would you at least take care of that this week? Again, Karnia Shaliak, I'm not completely butchering that name that he's speaking with. And again, going back and forth, and somebody seems to have asked him what he had in the fridge. Please, Anna, have the following groceries tomorrow: unpeeled garlic, parsnips, fresh coconuts, lemons, fresh salmon, and a lot of things that you would need to make beef jerky. Okay, I will go to the store first thing in the morning. Please, do you have any beef jerky? And it goes on and on and on. And look at this. I will come teach a jerky class, and we can also cover chocolate cream pie if you can agree to pay me through this period. So I would then receive my last paycheck on the 29th. This is Francis Derby, and he's actually the famous chef that started a restaurant, I believe, in Los Angeles. It was this guy, and the name of the restaurant was called the Cannibal Restaurant. I'm not kidding. So, that's kind of who that guy was, which is why this is going, all this sort of stuff is going so viral. So, I'm going to let you guys make the decision whether or not this is actually real beef jerky or it's code word for something else. I think that it's very odd. I mean, Francis Derby, this guy that owned tons of restaurants, or very famous chef, the idea that a very famous chef would.
So it's Francis Derby, huh? Okay. Someone come up? Oh. Hey, cuz. You're on mute.
Because I said I only wanted to watch.
You came up. That was the link was for coming up. All you had to do was just go to the live stream.
Okay, I'm finna leave and come back, but not so they can hear me.
All right.
Okay, bye, y'all.
But I do have a question for you.
Because you're about to start and make me talk for 40 minutes, and I'm about to go to sleep.
No. Just one question.
Okay, what?
Did you see the ass whooping that Jasmine Crockett put on Pam Bundy?
Yes. And I will not elaborate because I will keep talking about it. But I saw it, and it was overdue and well deserved.
Elaborate on it just a little bit.
Yes. Okay. Bye. Love you.
Bye. Love you. That was an ass she gave her. I just want to talk about. She's not shy at all.
Be in on it, along with all of these other individuals and moving bags around of beef jerky, quote unquote, to eat it. I think it's very out in the open like that. It just seems pretty odd to me. But a lot of people and a lot of politicians are also tweeting about this, thinking, okay, there seems to be some weird sort of code words here.
I didn't know I was getting love from Britain. Shouts out to Britain. Shouts out to Britain. Welcome to the We-On-Loc channel. I didn't know I was getting all the way to shouts out to Britain. Oh my, oh my Lord. Thank you. Thank you. Like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. And if you're feeling kind of generous, you can always go to my Cash App. It's Desi88. Desi88 Cash App. Desi at the 88 the Cash App. Barb, if you're in here, please put up my Cash App for me. Please, please, pretty please. If you are in here. If not, don't worry about it.
Maybe it actually does mean something really sinister. Maybe they are doing something weird. I also saw in a lot of other emails, people were previously mentioning cottage cheese, and stating that there's a code word with that as well. White tuna, stating there's a code word with that as well. So there's a lot of statements being made regarding, you know, what could all of this be said? What could really be said here? Here's another one. Just again, a list of what he has in the refrigerator, and listing also beef jerky. So again, just a lot of stuff. I've never seen somebody.
Okay, they're just looking what's in his refrigerator. Like, what the fuck? They're just looking what's in his refrigerator. Yeah. Ass. Ass was in the refrigerator. What does that mean? All right, before I go to the next thing here. I'm sorry, it's like, what are you, he was in the refrigerator and he looked up there and he had this. It's like, yes, it's no different from Jeffrey Dahmer. There's no fucking different from it, but that's just how people are, man. That's just how freaking people are. But let me go to my email real quick. Let me go back to my email because I want to show you people something. I just want to show you, and I want to put it on the live stream. Let's see here. Let me move that out the way. That out the way. Like I said, if you have strong stomachs, there we are. There we are. Ooh. Ooh. Oh my goodness. Oh, the tears of eyes, that's a strong ball. That's Bill. No, that's not Bill. And people say I'm stupid. People say I'm stupid. But look at what you have. You have under teenage girls. Under teenage girls who were manipulated into doing what they did. Trump mentioned many times if we do not vote, in November election, and he's going to try everything damning to either block it, postpone it, whatever. Get to those polls early and often. Get to the polls early and often. Because I see a vision. My vision is some bullshit is going to happen. And he knows his time is near. He knows his time is up. And Pam Bundy knows her time is up. Christy knows her time is up. Cash Mattel knows that her time is up. That only leaves JD Vance. That's the only person that it leaves is JD Vance. As long as you're in line with the polls, and the polls close, you can vote. Oh, I know that. Cuzzo. But I'm gonna get there. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna read into it. Can I actually participate in voting? Can I actually participate in early voting? Not in November. Share the knowledge. Oh, of course. I shared it earlier, but you weren't here. But basically what I stated was early November, like somewhere around this month, is early voting. In November, get there early. Get there early and often, and start voting for those seats to be blue. Start voting for those Senate seats to be blue. Otherwise, you're going to be dealing with this for the next 3 years. I guarantee you that. For the next 3 freaking years, you're going to be dealing with the same shit. But anyways, I want to thank DOD, 2 Black, coming up here and talking with a brother. I want to thank people in this particular chat. I know things were kind of messed up, and this is the reason why I'm thinking about just scrapping. I'm thinking about just scrapping StreamYard and just going to Restream, because this is the raggediest stream I've ever been in. Restream to me is much better, but I will let you know beforehand what I do, and I'll just come up on here and do videos here on my phone. Not a problem. Not a problem at all. Don't be a chump. Vote for Trump. You stupid. All right. Peace and hair grease.